7 angelic blessings God's chosen ones are trusted with. Have you ever wondered why your childhood was filled with hardships while others seemed to live comfortably? What if those struggles weren't random, but essential to your evolution? These signs prove you're a chosen one with a unique purpose. God knew negativity couldn't derail your spiritual path. Join us as we explore the 7 angelic blessings that shape God's chosen ones from an early age. Number 1. The chosen ones amongst us. Thinking back to when you were a young child, did it seem like you had it harder than most? Maybe you grew up in a particularly challenging household with little to no affection from your parents. Arguments echoed through the house, and seldom was there peace. Money was always tight, meaning you couldn't get the latest fashion apparel or video games. If you were one of those people who appeared to have it tougher than anyone else during your childhood, this could be taken as a sign that God has a plan for you. You might ask yourself why God would willingly put someone through challenges and hardships during their formative years. But the answer is simple, isn't it? Only by living through tough periods can we build resilience as children. Such adverse experiences increase our awareness and empathy, and we learn from the mistakes of others. These lessons can help us develop emotionally, socially, and cognitively in our younger years. All of these things could be interpreted in one of two ways. A great misfortune was bestowed upon you, or it was God's plan all along. For those who prevail from hardship early in life, it is often looked upon as one of the most prevalent signs that God has chosen them for a higher purpose. You likely had more responsibilities than other kids your age. This was essentially God's way of placing you into a spiritual boot camp. You were learning the true nature of the world. You likely adapted to new situations quickly and built mental toughness that would pay off later in life. While it may have been difficult to see all those years ago, it was necessary and part of the universe's plan. You were being tested all along while developing into someone God could trust. Number 2. Drawn to the truth. Do you vividly remember reacting strongly to friends or family lying when you were young? Were you bothered when your parents broke a promise or your sister told a small lie to their friends? Did you seem more agitated than what other kids might have been? If this aligns with your past, and you've always felt dishonesty of any kind as harmful, it might actually be a sign that you've been entrusted with upholding God's standard of truth. While many people around you might be able to shrug off telling lies to those they love, you simply cannot bring yourself to do so. Don't worry, this was always part of the plan. Those entrusted by God often tend to have qualities such as sincerity and integrity, meaning they have difficulty deceiving anyone. Instead, they strive to tell the truth and are not worried about the consequences of doing so. So, if you have always been sensitive to lies and deception, it could be a sign that God has placed a high responsibility on you, one that entrusts you to uphold the truth. Number 3. Prophetic dreams. Thinking back to your childhood, did you ever have unusual dreams that felt so surreal that you began to question whether they were, in fact, part of reality? Did these dreams stick with you, and you found yourself questioning the meaning behind these vivid experiences? Many who have been left puzzled by such dreams often speak of feeling like God was speaking directly to them. While you may have spoken to friends or family about these peculiar experiences, some of which predicted things that manifested in reality one way or another, they simply shrugged them off. Maybe this led you to suppress these dreams because they felt overwhelming and unnatural. But we wouldn't encourage you to diminish these dreams quickly, as they could be signs of a unique ability. Having vivid or prophetic dreams has been linked to a deeper connection with God. In various religions around the world, including Christianity, it's said God communicates with his initiates through dreams. Suppose you've been experiencing such a thing. In that case, it's possible your out-of-the-ordinary dreams are God's way of communicating directly with you in hopes of guiding you along a special path. Some refer to this as a unique form of spiritual sensitivity that allows you to travel beyond the dimension we are currently experiencing on Earth, allowing you to seek knowledge and wisdom from beyond this plane. Number 4. You have a special connection with life on Earth. Do you remember having a powerful connection with animals and children throughout your life? Did children immediately settle once placed in your arms? Or do dogs and cats come running towards you in hopes of being close enough to allow you to pet them? Did you find that living things appeared more relaxed when in your presence? There's a good chance you never thought anything of this when you were younger, but looking back, you are now beginning to question why this was. Well, there's a good chance it's more than just a coincidence. God's chosen people often have a robust spiritual warmth that attracts all sentient beings. They find solace and peace in being close to people like you. Animals live in a unique world of their own with an increased sensitivity towards hearing and sight that humans do not possess. They can sense the vibrations given off by a person and discern whether they are in danger or safe to approach. So if you are one of these people, this could be a sign of a blessing that's been bestowed upon you by God. You were given a heart of compassion, which is shown through since your childhood. God entrusted you with a powerful gift that allows you to bring peace even in the most chaotic of situations. Number 5, increased sense of empathy. Have you had an increased sense of another's well-being from childhood? Do you go out of your way to ensure friends, family, and strangers are doing well, even placing their needs above your own? Could you close your eyes and feel the suffering and pain of another following a traumatic incident? If so, this is typically a sign that you have an increased sense of empathy. You may have been teased about this as a child because you cried when you saw a family member suffer. Or it's possible you got overexcited when your friends received good news and people simply assumed you were just more sensitive than others. But again, this deep and rare sense of empathy is actually one of the most unmistakable signs that God chose you for a special task. Think back to your childhood, and you may quickly realize that a high level of empathy was not typical of those around you. Yet, you couldn't help it. You didn't want anyone to suffer, and often went out of your way to ensure this. You sought to help anyone you could, and frequently rejoiced when they expressed excitement or happiness. This shows that God has prepared you for a special purpose from an early age. Your empathy is truly a gift, and should never be considered a weakness. You see, God entrusts the chosen ones with an ability to feel on a deeper level, more than most people could understand. It knows you have a special heart capable of transforming the pain and suffering one experiences in love and joy. Number 6, you completed any task you put your mind to. Do you have a vivid memory of being highly motivated as a child? When asked to complete a task, did you do so wholeheartedly, often giving more than you receive in the process? In some cases, your family looked upon you to help fix any problems in the household, whether physical or mental. Could friends confide in you and obtain more than mere advice? If these things resonate with you, this could signify God has chosen you for a special task. As various religious scriptures mention, God often seeks to instill reliability and responsibility in the people selected as prophets and sages. All of the chores you completed without hesitation, the conflicts you eased, and the people cheered up by your grace are not merely a representation of your personality. It was all a part of your training in which God sought to test you so that you might lead where others fall in line and persevere where many hesitate and crumble. God seeks out people who won't quit at the first obstacle, hoping to find those who find a way to make things happen regardless of the situation. If you can relate to this sign, maybe God chose you to embark on a path leading to a greater purpose. Your get-it-done attitude can ultimately lead you to help humanity in a specific way. Number 7, a quest for answers and meaning. Thinking back to your childhood, were you utterly fascinated with the world and our place in the universe? Did you find yourself questioning things well beyond your age, whilst other kids played with new toys and watched children's television programs? Was your curiosity drawn towards understanding things on a deeper level, questioning the meaning of life and whether God exists or not? While you might have been oblivious then, the search for spiritual answers was a telltale sign that God chose you for a greater purpose. The questions you sought answers to when you were nothing more than a young child or teenager showcase your connection to the divine. You incarnated on earth with a true purpose, and pondering upon the deeper aspects of existence would eventually lead you back to God. Generally, those with a strong desire to understand the complexities of the universe are destined to seek and spread the truth to all those they come into contact with. God gave you a restless heart and a mind that seeks to understand the universe, thereby leading you to have many moments of reflection. Perhaps you found peace whilst wandering in the stillness of nature, or solace as you gazed upon the stars in the night sky. During these moments, you might have found answers to the many questions you asked yourself as a child. As in these moments, God began to communicate with you, planting the seeds of knowledge in your mind so that you might share these with others on a similar path. Ultimately, God chose you to be someone who seeks out wisdom and to be the one who questions traditions and authority when others won't. This spiritual curiosity will eventually lead you on a journey of faith, one from which you will learn who you really are.